Welcome back to Omega Virtual Learning. I welcome all new viewers to this channel. This is lesson 4 on advanced trigonometry, cosine rule. And this lesson we'll be talking about the derivation of the cosine rule formula and how to use cosine rule to work out missing sides and angles of triangles. And as usual, go through exam style questions. I'm going to spend a couple of minutes to go through the derivation. Do not worry so much if you don't follow the derivation. What matters is how to use the formula to do your working out in an exam. I'm just going through this for those who find proofs fascinating. So triangle ABC, labeled as per our previous lessons. The height, I call it H, and at this point I call it X. So you could see that line AB is C, but I've divided into sections, so I need to know how long this is, how long that is. So I would prefer to call this side Y. And if I call this side Y, this side should be the original C minus Y, because the whole length was C before. So if I name part Y, the remaining should be C minus Y. So let's focus on in triangle ACX. Cos A is adjacent over the hypotenuse, so that is Y over B, and I call this equation 1. Now I'm going to use Pythagoras theorem in still the same triangle ACX to work out what is B squared. B squared should be equal to H squared plus Y squared. And from here, I'm going to focus on triangle CXB. CXB, I want to use Pythagoras to work out what is H squared. H squared is the longest side A squared minus C minus Y squared. And if I expand the bracket, this is what I will have. Remember, I'm going to multiply it by -1 now. So that will change everything into this. I call this equation 3. So I have equation 1, equation 2, equation 3. I'm going to put all together. This is what I do. You see, the height squared is the same as the height squared here. So what I'm going to do is that in place of this height squared, I'm going to replace it with all this. The highlighted, as you can see. So I'm going to put 3 into 2. And this is what I'm going to have. And you see, minus Y squared plus Y squared will cancel out now. Now, I can make Y the subject. If you make Y the subject, I'm going to push A on this side become minus A. Minus C on this side becomes plus C, as you can see here, all equals 2CY. So to make Y the subject, you divide through by 2C. This is what you have. So let's call this equation 4. Now, I'm going to put equation 4 into equation 1. As you can see, the Y I have here the same as the Y there. So all I'm going to do is to replace Y with that. And that will give us that. Cos A will be equals to B squared plus C squared minus A squared over 2BC. This is the formula when you want to work out missing angles. And when you rearrange, you get a formula for a side. So know the difference. Angles, this is how it's quoted. Sides, this is how it's going to be quoted. So I'm going to use both in our examples to show you angle 1 and the side 1. Okay. Now, when do we use cosine rule? If we're given two sides and an included angle to find a third side, you can use cosine rule. Included angle, by now you should know what is an included angle. Angle between two known sides. Right, so here we're supposed to work out angle X. We have two known sides, we have an included angle. and we're looking for x, so we can use cosine rule. Do the labeling correctly. So you label the missing side A, small a, and the corresponding angle big A. Then you label the other two sides B and C, because that's what you need in your formula. It doesn't really matter which is B and C, but just stick to one, B and C. Now put it into the formula. So x squared is 11 squared plus 15 squared minus, I suggest use the bracket carefully, because there's a bracket here, and cos there's a bracket you close before the general bracket. Now take your calculator and work this out. You're going to take a square root of that, so you put this all under the square root sign, or you can as well put square root for all these and key in on the calculator. This will give you the same answer. So answer will be 11.6 centimeters. So in the same way, either you just put square root on this so that you don't need to use x squared straight away, because calculator question, you get the same, or you can go step by step, and finally you put the square root sign on the remaining. Next one. If you want to work out missing angle, the rule is you should be given all the sides. Remember that what we went through before was to find out missing side. To find a missing side was two sides should be given with an included angle. Now if you want to work out a missing angle, you must be given all the three sides for you to use cosine rule. And this is the formula. So you start again, label the angle big A and the opposite small a. And this will be your B and C. Substitute into the formula. So you're going to have cos y equals 7 squared plus 12 squared minus 14 squared all over 2 times 7 times 12. You just replace it to the formula. Now when you work it out on the calculator, this is what you have. And remember, when you're working out angle, we always use the inverse of it, of the cos. So it's similar to what we're doing for sine rule. When we're working out angle, we're using the inverse. So here too, we're going to use the inverse. So you're going to use cos -1 of your answer, and the calculator will work that for you as 91 degrees. So y is 91 degrees. So know the difference between the angles and the sides. They are different. I'm repeating again. To use cosine rule for an angle, all the three sides must be given. To use cosine rule for a side, you must have two sides with included angle. Now exam style question, pause it and read the question. Okay, two boats A and B leave port at 10 a.m. Boat A travels at a constant speed of 21 miles per hour on a bearing of 75 degrees. Boat B travels at a constant speed of 28 miles per hour on a bearing of 140 degrees. Calculate the distance between boats A and B at 11 a.m. Answer correctly to decimal places. Okay, so this is the sketch of the problem. This is the port. Boat A, 21 miles away from the port, bearing 75 degrees. Boat B, 28 miles away from the port, bearing 140 degrees. We're supposed to work out A and B distance, so I call it X. Okay, now to look at this carefully. I have a side, and I have an unknown side. If I'm able to work out the included angle, I'll be able to use cosine rule. Okay. Now we know that this is 65 because the whole angle here is 140. If this bit is 75, 75 from 140 will give us 65. So I now know my included angle. I'm going to use cosine rule for side. And you should be able to remember the formula. This is the angle big A. The side should be the small a. And these two should be your B and C. So using the formula, this is it. You quote and replace all the numbers carefully. Be careful with the brackets. There's the bigger bracket for everything, and there's a small bracket for the cosine value. So you can use square root of everything to get your answer for the next step, or go step by step. It's up to you. So you work this out. This is what you have. And the answer is this. 26.98 miles.